How to teach your dog to come back to you using an e-collar. To get started, you're gonna need a super duper long line, an open field with hopefully not many distractions around, your dog's favorite training treats, an e-collar of choice. I'll be using the Dogtra Cue Gen2, and don't forget your dog, Crash. I'm just gonna roam around until he's distracted. When his back is turned to me, I'll say the command here, and then I'm gonna hold down the continuous button, and as soon as he's within my bubble, my 2 to 3 feet bubble, I'm gonna release the button and then back it up with his favorite treats. Now, if he struggles, if he gets confused, I'm gonna use my leash to assist him. Once he feels the sensation, this is his first ever training session with an e-collar and the here command. So if I find that he struggles to pull out of it with the e-collar pressure, I'm gonna back it up with my leash pressure. We're pairing these two things together right now with the eventual goal of not using the leash and just being left with the e-collar. Free! I'm gonna have to hide my treat pouch because he's more focused on this. Here. Holding it until he's in my bubble and then release. Where are my treats? They're in my butt. Good boy. To get him to leave my side, I'm gonna start to toss some treats away from me. What can happen is when you practice a lot of recall, you have a dog that never leaves your side, but if your dog never leaves your side, then you can't call them back to you, so you do wanna practice some reps of go away from me too. Free. Here. Good man. As soon as he's in my bubble, I release the e-collar. Okay, he's a little distracted. Here. Good. One other way you can assist your dog is by walking backwards. So the full pattern is wait for your dog to drift, let their back be turned to you, say the command, hold down the button, walk backwards. As you're walking backwards and your dog gets right in your bubble, you release the button, back it up with snackies. Oh, and I did forget to mention you can use the leash, right? If your dog gets confused, if your dog is not understanding that using the e-collar pressure means turn around and come back to me, pair it with your leash pressure, looks like this, here. Good boy. So that way they can make the connection that leash pressure and e-collar pressure mean all one and the same. Have my leash still in my hand, here. Good boy. Here. Good boy. I think we've gotten to the point where I no longer need to help him with leash pressure. He is responding very clearly to the e-collar. So don't move on to this next step until your dog can consistently pair e-collar pressure and leash pressure together. But now that I'm feeling pretty good, I'm not gonna hold on to the leash anymore. Now still keep your leash on because that is your extra safety. If your dog does not come back to you, you can default back to picking up your long line and making sure that they do come back. The ultimate goal here is that we're pairing the e-collar pressure with the leash pressure, but then at the end of this, we ditch the leash and we're just left with the e-collar. So now I'll do a few with no leash in my hand. Here. Good boy! Holding it down this whole time until he's in my bubble and then letting go. Good man. Here. Good boy! There's a butterfly. I'm holding it, and now I let go. Good boy. The faster you get in my bubble, the faster you get treats. And the treats I'm giving him free is a big ol' handful of his kibble. So not just one little plain Jane snacky. No, you're gonna get a big reward because recall is debatably the most difficult command because your dog gets distracted by squirrels, by cars, by bikes, by butterflies. So we have to make it worth their while to come back to us by paying them. Okay, I'm feeling crusty. This is a really empty park, and this is kind of the real life scenario that I want to practice is being somewhere new and foreign and making sure that he's coming back to me. So let's take off the leash. Free. Free. I swear he needs to poop. He's playing me. Okay. I knew he had to poop. Please hold. Let me quickly interrupt Crash's training session to introduce you to the sponsor of today's video, Dogtra. I'm guessing if you're watching this video, you want to e-collar train your dog, but maybe you don't know where to start with the proper equipment. And when looking for an e-collar, you want to find something extremely user-friendly as you're learning alongside your dog. That's why I'm using the Dogtra Cue Gen2 because it is the most beginner-friendly collar. I have experimented with a lot of different e-collars out there, and I am telling you that this is the one that my clients pick up the fastest. Learning e-collar can be really overwhelming for a beginner, so you need something plain, simple, simple and straightforward, and that's everything that goes into the Dogtra Cue Gen2. There's only one main button. Now you can set this button to whatever setting you prefer. It could be pager, it could be nick, it could be continuous. Me personally, I have my collar live on C for continuous. Now, if you want to get fancy, they do have some cool settings. You've got a boost button right here, which I like to utilize when I take Crash out and about. It's even got this safety lock feature. All you do is tap the power button and now it's locked on the number that works best for your dog. So now if you accidentally hit the up and down buttons, that number is gonna stay the same. There is no better time than now to start e-collar training your dog so you can give them more freedom and trust to roam and explore. So go get you the Dogtra Cue Gen2 at Dogtra.com and use code WILD5 at checkout. Thanks, Dogtra. Here. Holding it, holding it, holding it. Now, if he does not come back, when you're desperate, here, hey. Still holding it down this whole time. Good man, good man, good, here. So if your dog is too far from you and you don't have a leash on, in an emergency situation, you make a lot of fun noises and just go, hey, woo! When in doubt, you know what I mean? Oh Lord, a person. Here, good boy, good job, sit, here. Good man, sit. Okay, so now we've used the e-collar and the leash together. We dropped the leash, then we took off the leash. Now we're just talking to him with the e-collar pressure. The last thing to ditch is the e-collar pressure. So the very last step is gonna be to tell Crash here and not do anything but say the command. I don't wanna have to use the e-collar every time, but you have to condition it. And that's what we were doing before, is pairing here with the leash pressure, with the e-collar, with the treats. But then we're left at the very end with leaving all of it, so he's just responding to the verbal command. I'm now gonna give him a freebie, which is gonna be telling him here and letting him do it all on his own. But if he doesn't, now we'll transition to say no, here. And that's how you transition away from pairing it with just the commands over to our negative marker, which is gonna be no. Okay, so here's a good example. I'm not gonna be using the e-collar. Here, good boy, sit. But I will still keep backing it up with treats. I want you to over-reward this command. Here, good boy, good job, bud, sit. Oh my God. Look at that treat. Oh my gosh, that's gonna give you diarrhea for sure. Oh, there's people. We're gonna take advantage. Good man. If your dog just starts to check in with you, reward them for that. To say the more you choose me, the more good things come your way. He's making good decisions, so I don't even need to call him back to me because he's choosing to come back on his own. That's very good, just like that. He looks at the people, but comes back, checks in with me, gets rewarded for it. So I'm not always telling him here, if you choose to stay in my bubble, I'll keep rewarding you for it. That's how you get a dog that's a perfect hiking partner. But training recall is how you have backup that if they don't come back, you can ensure you have a way to communicate to them at a far distance. Let's leave these people alone and go this way. This is what I like to do on walks, is let the dog be free in an open area where there's no other dogs, no other people, and just practice him checking in with me. I'm not gonna use the e-collar, I'm just gonna give him the command. Here, good boy, sit. You'll also notice that I wait to reach for the treats until he's fully in the sit. And that's because in a real life scenario, your dog's gonna be used to seeing you reach for treats, and that's gonna be the incentive for them to come back. So instead, break that habit. Don't reach for your dog's treats until they've completed the full behavior, because in real life, you're not gonna have those treats. And you want them used to the visual of coming back to you when you look like you don't have any snackies. Here. Good boy, sit. Here. Oh, so close, I almost pressed it. Sit. Good, I'm honestly trying to find a scenario where he doesn't come back, so I can show you how I'll use it with no. Free by him being just a perfect boy. Here. He's too good. He's too good. But that's the ultimate goal here, is that I very rarely actually need my e-collar because I've taken all the steps to properly conditioning it, that this then just becomes my backup. Here. I mean, if that's not a perfect recall, I don't even know what is. Here. No. Here. Huh? No? Here. 8's not cutting it, so I'm gonna jump it up real quick. No? Here. No? Here. I'm gonna hold. This is a level 15, and I've got a big enough distraction that he's not coming out of it. I'm still holding it. No. Here. Still holding it. Good. Sit. He gets no snackies for that one because he totally blew me off, but let's talk about it. He wasn't responding to the Ecollar, so I bumped it up from an 8 to a 15. Instead of just saying no here, I held it continuous and I shortened the distance from me to him. If I'm really far away, it's less likely that my dog's gonna listen, so I'm gonna shorten that distance, get closer in the bubble to help pull them out of that moment. And you can also help to use some noises, clap your hands, pat things, and that'll draw them out of it. Here. Good boy! I think that's a pretty good note to end it on. Sit. Because he did it all by himself, he gonna get lost snackies. Good man. Good boy. Free. Okay.